Okay, so switching up into our music and entertainment section, let's quickly touch upon Jay-Z's freestyle at the Root Picnic. Honestly, I probably have a lot to say, but I'm gonna keep it on the low for this one. I think Hove coming out looking quite different with the afro, the black on black, kind of trying to send the message that look, man, I'm not here to play. And if you want to go back to his last interview, he talked about how no more defense, and 2026 is about going on the attack. So he kind of felt like Hove is out to take shots at anybody that's been coming for him. And on the freestyle, there were shots for anybody that has really had something to say about Hove in a recent past, talking about Jaguar Ride, Dame Dash, to name a few. So I'm going to throw this to you, JR. What did you think about the freestyle? Hove coming out, not seeing him for a while, and suddenly having a lot to say.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into my regular hip hop head back for my first response, which is it's
Right.
always nice to see Hove pop out to do his thing. He's a top tier level lyricist, and if you listen to the freestyle and how he was responding
Yeah.
to everyone, like you mentioned, Nicki Minaj, Drake, everyone who's had a thing to say about him, Kanye West, Tory Lanez, you could see his mastermind thinking full glare. It's always super glad to see Jigga out. Also the reunion, with Benny Siegel and Freeway. It's nice to see the Rock family still reuniting years later. It was nice. Sucks that we couldn't have Oshino Sparks or Dame Dash, the OG Rockefeller family there, but it was still nice to see some of the OGs from back in the days on stage again. So that's my first hip hop take. But now this is my hating back take. Like, yo, get this grandpa out of here, man. Like, bro, what's this guy coming out looking like Hugh Riley with his lace wig? Like, bro, get this guy to the
Oh my
nursing home. Like,
days,
bro,
man.
yo, Hove, I'm very certain if you go into certain stores, you qualify for seniors benefits. So I don't know what you're trying to do. Look gangster. Nigga, you're almost 60 years old. Like, this shit is for the youngins. You scare nobody, old man. Like, basically what
Well,
I'm saying. Like, get this grandpa off the stage, man.
nah, man, I have to disagree with you, man. Look, the only place I will agree is yes, Hope is a senior man. Maybe just allow the youngins have a good time, but at the end of the day, Hove is Hove. There's levels to this stuff, and there's conversations about Drake being on the Hove level. I personally disagree with that. I think Drake remains on the Kendrick, J. Cole level, even though maybe he's slightly a notch above those two in terms of his ability to do crazy numbers. But in terms of the music that they create, he's still on the Kendrick level, man. Hove is an OG. So I know the Drake bots will probably be
I,
upset. Hove coming for their guy, trying to take the moment from the boy. So that's where I sort of disagree with Hove. This is Iceman season. Just let the boy have his time.
but to be
You
to
know,
be
you
to
have
be fair to Jigga
yeah,
though, Iceman was talking
uh,
crazy on his
talking
album.
about
So
him.
the jig
Yeah,
is
but
up,
but but
and so it's
maybe
it's nice to hear Jake pop out again. But to your point, continue. I think I agree with what you're saying, right? Like,
yeah,
continue.
but Drake did his talking on the music in terms of on his album, so Jake can do the same. Just drop 1, 2 shots on your album referencing Drake, and everyone is gonna catch the trips. But he came out looking like someone that got triggered, which I don't expect from someone at the level of Hope. But you know,
Which brings me back to the point you were trying to make in saying you don't think Drake is on Jay's level. I
yeah,
think we have to contextualize that statement. Obviously, Drake can never get to Jay's level because Jay got into the game way earlier than him, different playmates.
exactly,
Jay had to put in work in a different way than Drake had to do. So for like it's unfair to try and compare two generations of superstars, right? But I
yeah.
think musically, I think they are closer to being peers, which is why I think Jay came out and he was a bit quote unquote triggered by what Drake said. I guarantee you, I assure you, when Jay was popping at the prime of his career, when rappers like The Game were trying to get him to come out of his character and respond to them, or Joe Budden or the rest, like you said, Hove would probably just throw a line or two towards you in a random freestyle and keep it moving.
Yeah.
The fact that you see him being a little bit triggered to, send those shots at Drake, not 1 or 2 responses, it's probably to the point that I'm trying to make that yes, he still sees Drake as his youngin, but it's a youngin that everyone is bigging up to be the next to be the next big thing, and it's just like LeBron taking shots at Michael Jordan. Of course, Michael
True.
Jordan is the OG, but you won't be surprised if you see which we kind of saw happen, right? The moment LeBron was about to surpass Michael Jordan in the goal scoring points, we had the old Last Stand documentary drop just to remind us of Michael Jordan's greatness, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't mean like Jordan feels threatened by James, but in terms of legacy, right? When you put up certain numbers, and whoever's at the top is bound to let you know that, see, I know you're killing shit
I'm
right
still
now,
here.
but we got here first, right? So to your point, that's what I feel about the levels here, and definitely Drake is still Jay's young game, but it's it's basically saying, homie, like, what's up?
I'm coming for that belt.
What's up, homie? So yeah, I think I agree with you. I think Jay should have probably just let it slide, but I think there's a bigger play at hand. Yeah, I think Jay is probably gearing up to drop some new songs. I think it
Yeah.
will probably coincide with the 30th anniversary of the Reasonable Doubt, the concert he has coming up at the Barclays Center. I won't be surprised if the freestyle we heard at the Root Picnic is probably like a verse from a song that's already been recorded. Because you could see
Maybe.
the cut off when he was about to keep going. Like, I know he tried to throw it in like it was the usual freestyle, but come on, Hove, you're not fooling anyone. We know you've recorded this song now. Like, come
Ah,
on.
my days, my man taking shots of hope. Well,
Like,
I guess we're gonna find out on the album if it's a
come on,
freestyle
Google
or
me.
if it's an already pre-recorded track. But to be honest, when I listened to it, it did feel like a freestyle. So, as you said, we're gonna find out. Yeah.
Yep.
So since we already touched upon the upcoming Reasonable Doubt shows at the Barclays, is this something you're looking forward to, or is it just gonna be another you know Hove having something to say?
I think Hove has not probably gotten the responses he was hoping to get from the freestyle he did at the Roots Picnic, because I think everyone is playing chess right now, right? I think
Yeah.
you already alluded to it. It's Iceman season. There's nothing wrong with leaning into the Drake hype and just boosting yourself. I'm not saying Jay needs Drake to get hype. Please, you guys don't come for me in the comments. But I'm saying right
That
now,
sounds like that's what you're saying, my G.
right now is Iceman season, right? You get me?
Yeah.
So I think if Drake probably says something or responds to the freestyle, which I know Drake is not probably gonna do, I think Drake has learned his lesson from the last time. Drake is Jay is a staple in the culture. You don't go against someone like that rashly. You have to be very calculated about how you do it. So I think definitely Drake still has a couple more bars for Hove lined up, but I think he's maybe gonna drop it in like a surprise project before the end of the year. But back to your question, I'm super excited. I mean, it's Jigga, right? Like I said, if I'm not being funny or trying to, throw bands, like it's Hove, right? Like Reasonable
Exactly.
Doubt was the album that introduced him to the hip hop world and let everybody know a legend was born. So 30 years of that is crazy. I'm excited to see the who he's gonna have on stage again. The surprise performances. Are we gonna get a new freestyle? Is there gonna be like a vinyl drop in? Is it gonna have a couple of new tracks? Yeah, I mean, Hove is a competitive guy. As much as we try to say he's not bothered, I think we probably want to get a couple of numbers on the board, just to increase the social currency, and let everyone know that, I might not be, in the day-to-day of what's going on in hip hop, but I'm still the big dog, right? And the only way to prove that is, to drop some numbers on the board. So I see definitely Hove dropping some new music, and yeah, I'm super excited for the concerts. What about you?
Yeah, I'm also excited about the concert. It's been a while we saw Hove in the public space doing tours and stuff. So I want to see what Hove has to say, and I don't think we're gonna see another freestyle though. I think we're just gonna see maybe a single get released to get us
True.
tapping into that Hove Jay-Z kind of rap. And I hope it's a pop, man, because Iceman just did crazy numbers, and obviously I don't
I'm
think
sorry to
Jay-Z
sorry
has
to
that.
disappoint you.
But I don't think Jay Z has that same, in
I'm
terms
sorry to
of
disappoint you.
currency, in terms of numbers in 2026. He's
Sorry to
probably gonna
disappoint
need
you.
like an endorsement, just like I think the last one was Apple, something like that to make sure the
Yo,
numbers
Jigga Man has always been, pulling some things behind the string. Like to your point, Magna
exactly
Carta was his collabo with Samsung, where they bought 1 million copies before the album dropped. That's how it was able to
exactly.
get
Well,
the
we might
platinum
see
status.
something similar for
Exactly,
this
we get something
album.
repeat. True, true.
Yeah, because Drake just did probably almost 500K in a week. You don't want to come out sound like an OG and then you can't even do half of those numbers. So
Exactly.
you need to have somewhere to back you up, because I'm not sure Jay at this age, almost 60, will have the same commercial draw like a Drake. So,
Understandable. Understandable.
let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
So just on other topics though, the World Cup is coming up. You see Shakira and Burna Boy are gonna be performing at the opening ceremony. Man, I have to give props to my guy Burna. Man is
Yo,
everywhere,
yo.
repping Nigeria at the world stage,
That's
even
on
though
a huge
some
way, man.
yeah, even though some Nigerians still have a lot to say about his political ways, but let's leave that for social media banter and all that. So, big ups Burna Boy, always there, putting Nigeria on the map. And I
Yes,
hope the
yes.
opening ceremony is gonna be like a top performance. And shout out to Shakira also. Do you want to touch up on the other performing artists for the show before we call it a day?
I think there's also a World Cup song by Future and Tyler, right? Let's not leave our sis Tyler from the African continent. So big up Tyler. She's doing her thing, putting the girlies on the map from Africa as well. So I think we probably might see a cameo from Tyler with when Future is performing. So other than the Burna Boy and the Shakira, I'm looking forward to Future and Tyler as well. I think the World Cup just released the official track list, and other than that, I don't think they'll probably have any A-list star that's going to be at the opening ceremony. But yeah, we can never tell. These people are full of tricks, so they might as well just have one or two tricks up their sleeves. So yeah, can't wait.
True. Yeah, talking about the track list though, I did see we had Davido there on a track. I think Rema was also there. So,
Oh, nice.
more of our Niger bros repping
Big ups.
the
Big
green, white,
ups.
green flag. So I might just have a listen to the album when it drops, if it is already dropped actually, just
Okay.
to get a vibe of the music content on that. Okay, so at the end of the day, we just want to catch up on music, entertainment. We're all looking for the World Cup, June 11th. So this has been an entertaining section talking about Jay-Z, Burna Boy, Shakira, the boy Aubrey, the Iceman season. So we're gonna call it a day here. Once again, thanks for catching up with us on the JR&Skipps podcast. You can subscribe on YouTube. Please remember to follow us on our social media platforms. It's JR_Skipps on Twitter and TikTok, and JR_Skipps_podcast on Instagram. Tap in.
Let's go.